just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by Grumpy Coffee, the best coffee in all the land. Head over to grumpycoffee.com.au. We've got the everyday blend, we've got the very grumpy blend, we've got pods, we've got whole bean, we've got ground, we've got it all. Give Grumpy Coffee a try. And also, do not forget, join the Bloke Club. That's right, it's completely free. Go to www.bloke.club. Completely free to join. And when you join, you automatically go on the draw to win a Mazda BT50. That's right. It's completely free, no strings attached. On top of that, so on the fourth month, we're drawing the car, but each month before and after that, we do prizes. So the first month, we gave away $2,000 cash. This month, we're giving away $2,000 cash. So each month, we give away prizes. We got discounts. We got a car. It's completely free to join, no strings attached. Join the Bloke Club, and that's all thanks to Aspley Mazda, Luke Camilleri. Go to LDC_01. He's the best in the business. If you need a car, Luke Camilleri is the man to speak to, and he's the one that provided the Mazda BT50 for the Bloke Club. With that out of the way, got the great Sam Walkie. How you going, brother?
Good, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mate, very, very excited to have you. How's it been? I'm sure it's been frustrating. You've been itching to get out there. How's it been watching the season at the moment?
Yeah, it's obviously frustrating. I knew as soon as I did it, I obviously missing that finals period last year was really difficult as well, but I knew once the season came around this year, you do a whole preseason block, you're feeling good, feeling ready to go, and to miss the first half and have no sort of impact on what's going on is obviously something that's hard to do. But I'm looking forward to hopefully that back end of the year and have the boys firing and ready to go for the finals.
What's it like being? And you would probably be used to it because you've been the half essentially your whole career coming through the juniors. But I guess and maybe you have or you haven't read it, but like a lot of analysts, including myself, it's all about wait until Sam gets back. Like when Sammy gets back, the Roosters will be back in the hunt for where we think they'll probably end up. What's it like, being the seven and having so much, I guess, pressure and expectation on your shoulders at such a young age?
No, it's a funny one because I feel like different people look at it different ways. I feel like for myself personally, like I enjoy that sort of pressure, like depending on where the game's at and all that sort of stuff, and like you've got something to strive for, I guess, and it's definitely driving me at the moment with my training and the way I'm sort of trying to prepare and stuff to get myself back in the best position that I can for the team. And I'm looking forward to like I said, getting back out there and doing what I love. That's what I mean. Like as well. Like playing football is what you love, and that's all you want to do. Yeah. Ever since you're however old.
It's funny how like when you're playing, you might start like you get a bit grumpy about certain things, like I got an extra fitness session, or like I played poorly. As soon as you get injured, you're like, I would kill to have an extra fitness session. I would kill to be able to play poorly. It's just crazy how you don't appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. It is massive like that. You get in the grind of a season, you're like, fuck, I'd love a week off, or I'd love I'm looking forward to a bit of a break here. And as soon as you get injured, you're like, I just wish I had taken the most of all those moments and all those games, and you want to play every as soon as you're doing now, I was like, I just want to play every single week. I don't want to miss a week.
Yeah, mate, it's crazy. And it doesn't matter how much you try to tell yourself when you're in the grind, like, mate, come on, like, you know what it's like to be injured. You just, for some reason, I don't know, human nature, really, human nature. What's it been like, mate, watching the boys? You had like tough start to the year, then historic win that was just like incredible. Like just what a performance, that win over the Panthers. And then the last two games, the game is, the score's been a bit misleading because when you actually watch the game, both games were like there to be won. What's it been like watching from the sidelines?
Yeah, obviously that Broncos one was probably a bit of a hit in the face. We had a lot of young boys sort of debuting, and they're obviously a very strong side this year, the Broncos. But that win against Penrith, that was unbelievable, especially for the club as well. The confidence that they gave the young boys. A lot of us haven't beat Penrith for a number of years now, and it gave us a real belief going into the next few weeks. And like you said, those two games were right there for us to win. There's a few moments in each game that probably let us down a little bit, but I think if we keep putting ourselves in those positions, keep working on those little things that probably let us down late in those games. Like I think we were up in both games with under 15 to go or something, so they were right there for us to win. And so that tackle Teddy made on in the New Zealand game, saved that try with about 15 to go.
Crazy tackle.
Yeah, you just go from there like, this is us, like this is our moment. We'll win this game 8-6, and then a couple other little things happen and it sort of just falls away from us there. So you just got to keep putting ourselves in these positions and I know the wins will come there.
Like when you actually, you sit there and you focus in on the Roosters situation, it does make sense in regards to like what is one thing younger players usually do. It's like they don't know how to close games out, or not don't know how to, that's probably a bit harsh, but like when you're younger, you haven't had the experience of like what needs to happen to make sure you close a game out. Whereas as you get a bit older and you've had a few experiences like you guys have had, and that's kind of like where the Roosters are at right now. You've got a lot of young players that are in like, their second or third NRL game, or at least in their first 20 NRL games. And so the positive is like, if you boys can learn from that in at least 12, the next 12 months or so, you'll just be a bit ahead of the curve that maybe you weren't, for example, let's say you were playing and Brandon Smith was playing, and you didn't have all those players leave last year, you wouldn't been able to have the opportunity to bring these young guys through, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good lesson as well. Like you come through the younger grades and you can do certain things wrong. You can do, it sort of gets missed out. You don't pick up on it. It doesn't the mistake doesn't get put in the spotlight as much. And I think NRL is such a hard game like to win, as well. Like it's such an, like no matter who you're playing, what's happened, like it is such a hard game to win. And I think it's a real good lesson, for us this year and for these last 2 weeks to realize how hard it is to win the NRL. And I know the boys have all come in with such great attitudes and they're willing to learn so much, which is exciting. With all these young boys that they just want to learn and want to know how they can improve and how they can, I guess they can close those games out. And the players, like you probably wouldn't expect to be on the field with 10, 15 to go. They're getting these lessons early in their careers that it's gonna help them build for the rest of their careers.
Absolutely. And just quickly, we spoke about Teddy before with his try saver. Mate, what's it like to play with a bloke like Teddy? Because I watch his career and this is a compliment. He's probably the most competitive player I've ever seen in my life. Like he will, like you could be down by 30 and he is still trying to win the match.
It's not just in the footy field. It's the golf course. It's whatever he's doing in life. It's competing. It's trying to win, and he's filthy. If you're beating him, he's absolutely filthy.
How's he go on the golf course?
It's hard to explain his golf game. It's like he can't. If he could just get off the tees, he'd be one of the best golfers you've ever seen. He just can't get off the tees around the green, chipping, putting. Mate, he's unbelievable. He's a scratch marker, but just can't hit a fairway to save his life. But he loves it. He's out there every day. Like he's. But yeah, like I think now that I'm injured as well, to sit back and. When you're on the field, you're just in the washing machine. You're just going through the motions. You don't even know what's sort of going on. And to sit back and just watch a game, watch the Roosters play, which I don't obviously get much of an opportunity to do, and to see what he gets through in a game. I said to Orbo on the weekend at halftime, I was like this guy's crazy. Like what he's getting through, the work he's getting through for the boys. Like he'll take the hit up off the kick return, hit up, and then he's taken one or two another hit ups in the rest of the set there, and you just. It's so impressive to see what he does and the work that he does behind the scenes with at training and stuff is the reason why he's able to do that on the field. Yeah,
I would love to know how many Ks he runs a game. It'd be up at around 8 to 10, I reckon. Easy.
Yeah, it'd be eight plus usually. He'd run on the field. Yeah,
which is for listeners, like if you're over 8 Ks, you're having a fair crack. Fair crack. Whereas like some centers you might get 5 or 6 Ks.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd be up over 8 nearly every single week. But do you remember your first meeting with Teddy as a young fella? Were you rattled? Because like that would have been like what, 2019, 20-ish?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Not too vividly. Probably it would have been 17. I think it would have been my first preseason. I came down in December. I think he wouldn't have been those. How like the Origin, usually the Origin and the rep players usually come back a bit later, so they come back in the new year. So it would have been probably would have been the new year sometime. But I think just the professionalism he shows, and it's why he's our captain. Like he's the leader he is with his words, but then also his actions is huge for us.
Is there any young fella currently playing that got to start because of all the injuries and people moving on that you're really excited once you get back to kind of work with on the field? Do you think?
I think he would have been there anyway. Like Bobby Toyer, like Rob Toyer, mate. He's such and we've watched him sort of. doing everything he's doing on the field at the moment. Like everything he's done there, we've watched for 2 or 3 years now at the Roosters, and the poor fellow, he's gone ACL, come back, killed it for like 2 or 3 weeks of cup, and then at training, I think the week before finals last 2 years ago, tried to step or something at training, and and his other ACL is gone, so he just had to go through both of them, and watching his resilience, and he comes in with a great attitude. Like he's doing extras in the gym, he's doing extras wherever it is, and to see him striving now on the footy field there now is it's huge.
That's one thing that I think Roosters do a really good job at in regards to recruitment. Like very rarely do you guys, it seems anyway, outside looking in, do you guys have in your top squad people that aren't like really like have a lot of professionalism? I mean, I know that sounds like silly, like people listening going, come on, anyone that plays NRL should have a lot of professionalism, but you'd be surprised, like there are some really good players that just doesn't suit their style, like the whole professionalism, and they need to be a bit more lackadaisy. It's certain people suit certain things, but Roosters, it seems like you have a squad of guys that are pretty like all high standard professionalism.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's driven from up above as well. Like obviously you look at Nick and what he's done with business and how professional he carries himself. I think it sort of it filters through the club each level, like Robbo and then all the coaching staff and the leaders of the club there as well. They really drive all that, and I think it filters down to the cup, the SG ball side this year. Like the 19 squad's being coached by Boyd Cordner. Like
That's crazy.
It's such a cool, such a cool thing for those young fellas to sort of experience, and that they carry that through into their first grade careers.
And mate, take us back to a young fella. First of all, what was it like growing up with the old man, being an NRL player? As a young kid, did you know from a young age that he was as good at footy as he was, or was he just dad?
Yeah, it's hard to really explain. I sort of have like some of my earliest memories of footy are like running out in a South jersey actually to go when Dad was playing for South at ANZ. Is it ANZ now or whatever that one?
It's called a core now, but it used to be called ANZ.
A core stadium there. Run out there in a South jersey and go to see Dad after a game. Like, those are sort of the first sort of memories of my football, and I guess I sort of missed it. He retired I think 2007, so I was only about 5 years old there, but.
Oh, that's crazy because that's when I debuted.
So now. I think didn't really get to watch him play as much, but obviously experienced him heaps with his coaching. Like he coached Ipswich Jets, the Queensland Cup. Him and my uncle coached all the way through. Until I went off to play for the Roosters. So I learnt so much off them, and the way that they view the game is so different to how probably anyone else views the game, I'd say.
Yeah, that's so. I've heard all the stories about the Jets and their unique style of footy of attacking from anywhere. It's I love hearing stuff like that because I do feel like sometimes, and I think clubs are getting better at it, but I do feel like sometimes, especially, I reckon there was like a 10-year period, like maybe 2010 to maybe but just before 2020, where like every team was just trying to be the Melbourne Storm, like and you can't really. Every squad's different, like everyone has different strengths. But yeah, it sounds like the Ipswich Jets, where they play, just super, super interesting. But what is also super interesting, bro, born in Leeds, holy West Yorkshire, mate. So technically, are you a Pommy?
Yeah, well, the whole family's like they're Queenslanders through and through. Mum's from I think Cairns and Dad's from Toowoomba, and then Dad had the opportunity to go over to England and play for Leeds and play for the Rhinos over there. And I was born over there, and I lived there for about 6 to 8 months or something, I still definitely claim it, that's for sure.
So when England's playing in the soccer or the football, are you like, the boys?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, those are my guys. Whenever we do like Rooster stuff, we'll do like a bit of culture stuff and get everyone to jump into their different cultures, and I'm always with the Pommies. Me, Rads, and Dommy Lad.
That's funny, so good. Mate, I'm assuming it was, but was it always footy for you, or did you just love to play sport as a young fella?
I just loved sport, to be honest. It was grew up playing, league and touch in the winter, and then cricket through summer. Like it was
the cherry.
Here than that.
Yeah, you go. There it is.
Yeah. Hey? I grew up. I think just loving all sports, and family were obviously right into it, and we grew up with no PlayStations, no like Nintendos, whatever they have these days. None of those, and it was always my brothers and my sister as well, and we'd spend every day out in the backyard playing either footy or playing cricket, like some sort of sport out there. And I think that's where I learned a lot of my skills as well that I do still today is just from playing touch in the backyard.
Yeah. And so from a young fella, what did you like better initially, touch footy or league or cricket?
Oh gee, it just went through different phases. Like I was love league coming through, and then I got to probably maybe 12, 13, 14. I started to love touch, like the whole social side of touch and the traveling. You got to go to different places to go play, and you're not playing one game, you're playing for 2 or 3 days straight, which was cool. And then
no contact too.
Yeah, and then 100% massive win. And then through school I was playing a lot of union as well. Like it was just a bit of a mixture. And then I remember my year 12 year, I dropped touch, I dropped union pretty much, and then it was just focusing on league, and had a really good year for Mel Meninga for the Ipswich Jets, and we played a pretty cool style that suited my game. And I think without me playing that style that I did that season, like we were just like, if you watch any of the highlights of the Jets Q Cup team, we were just like a mini version of that. Like we'd run sideways, we wouldn't run a single play the whole game, and it suited the way I wanted to play, and I was luckily enough able to get picked up off the back of that, and it was league from then on.
Really? So I guess because you would expect, especially how quickly you rose to play NRL, you would have assumed by like year 10 or whatever you were linked with the club, but it wasn't until year 12 where people really started coming around going, here's an offer for this junior system or whatever. Yeah,
well, like my whole year 11 year, I've grown up having a lot of like shoulder issues. I've had surgeries on both shoulders now.
Yeah.
And my year 11 year, I sort of couldn't play any league.
Oh wow!
Couldn't do anything because of my shoulder. And the back end of the year, I was able to come back around June, and that was the union seasons for school. So I played union at the back end of the year 11 and loved it. Like it was something that it was so much fun. It's probably because I hadn't played sport hadn't played a contact sport or anything for 9 months by that stage. So I was loving my union. Obviously, no league team was really watching at that stage, and I was. I was sort of having like talks with union as well about possibly going down that path. And like I said, then that year, the start of the year 12 year, was no union, it was just league, and it was playing for the Jets. And I think that's where the love sort of came back in there. And and then like I said, from there it was sort of just all league.
Wow. So did you, because like you had shoulder issues at quite a young age, was there ever people saying to you like, mate, if you're having shoulder issues now, like, it's probably not going to work out for you or anything like that? Or you were just always like, I just love playing sport. I'm not even thinking about it.
Honestly, like, I don't know if it was naive or whatever it was. I'm probably a very naive person, but you just don't, like, I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, shoulder's no good. Like, it's sublux, and I'd just be like, throw it back in, it'd be fine. Didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think there was a world where I couldn't like how bad an injury was. I couldn't play league. Like, it just, it was probably very naive looking back on it, but I just loved playing league. It was just like, I loved playing sport, loved competing. It was just something that would never cross my mind.
And how far did you get with cricket and that? Did you make any rep sides and stuff?
I sort of played through from like maybe 12s to about 15, 16. I think 16s I got to, and then mate, they started bowling like 130 k's an hour. It bounces out my head. I'm like, nah, this is not the sport for me. You think of like cricket, you're like, it's cricket. It's not like a
contact sport.
Not a contact sport. And then like, I'm more fearful walking onto a cricket field with my bat than I am to have Nelson run at me. Like, it's such a weird thing to have like someone bowling that fast at your head. Then I just went, that's too much to me. Like, I'm out of here. But I loved it. Like, I played all the way through. Like, we'd play backyard cricket every single day in the backyard. And like obviously playing with your mates and stuff. I was a keeper batsman to start with, and then I went to a GPS school. So it was like we had like it was a big cricket school, big union school, and the cricket side they imported a keeper, like they gave a scholarship to a keeper, so they've sacked me from keeper. I've got the boot. And in the A team, there was the only position that was left. There was no spin bowler, so I had to take up spin bowling. I couldn't really bowl. I couldn't spin the ball. I just bowled real fast Yorkers at their toes. So I was able to keep my position in the A side for another year, and then I gave it up after that. 16, I think.
That's great, mate. It's a great point. Like, you don't think of cricket as a contact sport, but if you're batting, that's contact, bro. And you got obviously you have some control over being able to defend yourself, but at the same time, like when they're bowling that fast, like
that ball's that hard.
Mate, being a bloke that didn't play cricket growing up, like I remember when I first grabbed an actual cricket ball, because like, you know how you at school, you play a little bit of cricket, but it's with the soft like PE ball, like it's just nothing. I remember I would have been like, the first time I actually picked up a proper cricket ball would have been after I left school. I remember going, surely they don't actually play with this. Like genuinely thinking that, because I don't play much cricket. It's actually fucking mental when you think about how hard they get hit with those balls.
Yeah.
And also like, they don't have padding here,
Can't
do they?
put it everywhere.
You can't put it everywhere, can you?
Yeah,
so you're getting
mum and
smacked
dad
in the ribs.
weren't. Yeah, mum and dad weren't. They give me the bare minimum with my cricket gear. Like you get footy gear, you do all that sort of stuff, but you're not getting like thigh pads and you know, the elbow guard and stuff. There's so many positions of your body that just aren't well protected.
Imagine getting smacked in the ribs there, just like
Yeah.
Bro, there was one into your ankle.
Yeah. So we were trying to do some content, and he just fucking absolutely smacked my ankle. I was like, what's wrong with you, bro? Yeah. Okay. So 16, you decided to go into the league. But do you reckon you were close at all to Union? Do you think there was any part of you that was like, you know what?
Yeah, for sure. Year 11, and yeah, I guess like I said before that Ipswich Jets year, there was definitely a part of me that was thinking about it, and I still loved it my year 12 year as well. I think it was just league's league, I guess, for me, and like obviously my family have all played it.
It's almost in the blood, really.
It was exactly. Like it was. I think it was such a cool opportunity to do. Like my pop played my Queensland Cup before there was NRL. Then my old man, my uncles have all played in the NRL, and it was a I think for me it just worked out for me.
And so Chris, being Larry, he's Larry. Look, Chris, he's a Larry man. Was he the crazy uncle for you growing up? Because he's a bit of a wild man. Or was he a bit chill?
Yeah, I guess you'd look at like you go the like whenever we'd have sort of family get-togethers, he was always the one starting to stir the pot a bit there, but. He,
I love it.
No, he was pretty sheltered and pretty tame, I guess, at the family get-togethers, and then you'd hear the stories for sure.
Because he's a wild man. He's a wild man.
Yes.
Bloody good footy player. Jeez, quick, very quick. Did you? So he would have been, because he would have played a little bit longer than your old man. Hey, he would have played a couple years after.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what year. He played for Titans there.
So probably in 8, 9 maybe. He was still playing.
Yep, and then I think he would have played 1 or 2 seasons of the Titans as well.
Yeah. 2011. Wow.
Yeah, and then I think halfway through the season packed his bags, headed home. Yeah, it's enough for me.
So you get to year 12, and how many clubs showed interest? Because obviously you ended up at the Broncos initially, but how many clubs showed interest in year 12?
4 or 5 clubs, I reckon. Yeah, it was that year. Sort of, you go around, have a chat to a lot of the clubs, and see what the opportunity looked like at those certain clubs, and I think I remember going to the Roosters, and as soon as they took mum and dad and myself there as well, and sort of as soon as we walked in there and we had Kath King. She's like the mum at the Roosters, like she's the best. Like she looks after everything. And after meeting her, meeting everyone at the club, and sat down and had breakfast with Robbo, and Luke Keary came actually, and for someone for switch in year 12, and like to have breakfast with those people and hear them talk about sort of what they see for your future and stuff like that was so exciting for me. As soon as we left there, we went, that's the club we want to be at. And
okay. Oh, so you never with the Broncos? They were just interested in you, the Broncos.
I was with the Bronx, like their junior development sort of thing. It was you'd come and train a couple of times a year with them and that sort of stuff. It wasn't and you wouldn't see the NRL players. You wouldn't do anything with the NRL, and it'd just be that sort of thing. And and I was obviously off contract, whatever. Like
you're not even on.
You're not doing anything, but off contract, I guess, in year 12 with them. And, like I said, as soon as I sort of went to the Roosters, and I think it all sort of was lining up a bit as well. Obviously, Coops was retiring. That door was sort of there's a halfback position there, and and then from there, I sort of haven't looked back.
Mate, it's so funny how much, even like me, who is like, very aware of the media and how they can, exaggerate things at times. Not everyone, but some in the media. So the whole time I'm sitting here thinking that you're actually contracted with the Broncos, and then you decided to go with the Roosters. But in reality, like when you're in those junior development, there's like 100 people in that
literally,
kind of thing.
There's that many kids there. You sort of just, it's they did a good job of it, Bronx, I think, in the juniors. Like I think a lot of other clubs have picked up on it now, and they got their own their academies and all that sort of stuff now. But Bronx would have been one of the first ones to have those proper academies. And they stole a lot of kids from, not stole, but like they recruited a lot of kids from around Queensland, whereas now I think a lot of the clubs have got good junior systems that are coming through now, but. Yeah, they done a good job of it as a kid for sure. It was a good opportunity for me as well.
Yeah, well, Broncos were really good at especially in the early 2000s, just throwing the net really wide.
Yeah.
Because not only do they have the development, and I'm not sure if you're in above the arm, but they've got development, but then they've got the elite one as well. So there's actually 2 layers of academy that they've got. So development is like a really wide net, and then the elite is essentially the best players in the state at that time, according to the Broncos. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily mean they are. And then, they're just smarter, just because once you get the gear, you got a bit of loyalty now. You're like, oh my god, I've got a Broncos.
Yeah, for sure. You get like 3 tickets a season. You're like, oh, this is so cool.
Loyalty to the death, man. With the Broncos to the death. But so really, it really was a tale of as soon as you walked into that Roosters building, you felt, nah, this is home.
Yeah, for sure. I think my parents weren't influencing my decision. Like they were whatever you want to do, but you can sort of just feel how it all sort of went, like the way they spoke, the effort they sort of put into it all. That it was, it was second to none. It was something that really stood out to me and my family, and they've done a fair bit for my family as well. Like they're so inviting for everyone's your families, and it's just it made sense for me.
Yeah, and so your first probably biggest game would have been, do you reckon, Queensland under-18s?
It would have been Queensland under 18s.
Did you make Queensland before then at all?
I made Queensland 15s. Okay. 16s couldn't play, and then 17s was I was playing 18s. 17s.
Yeah, okay. So you made it in the 15s. So you were always like
15s was in there, and then obviously said 16s wasn't playing any league because of my shoulder.
Yep.
And then come back that 17s year, and we had. Mate, under 18s Queensland side was so stacked.
And you beat New South Wales, didn't you?
Yeah, we had. Wow. We had. I'm trying to think about the edge. We had Walshy on the bench. We had. I'm trying to think who we had. We had I think Hammerso at fullback.
Oh my god.
Tessie, one centre.
Yeah.
Who else was that team? Xavier Coates was on the wing.
Far out.
Brendan Piakura, Jack Howarth. Jack Howarth on the bench. Trent Liero. Mate, the team was that stacked.
Holy shit.
It was such a... And then I think we were playing against like Bradman Bear, so there was some pretty cool names that were playing that game as well.
Yeah. It just sounds like one of those years where just a stacked year. Because some years you look back at the sides and only 1 or 2 players actually go on to make it. And then other years you look at it and you're like, holy shit, that's an NRL side essentially.
Yeah. It was, when you're playing it, you sort of don't think much of it, and you're like, it was sort of decent side here. And sort of just from there, it just sort of started happening. I think it was a bit of a pinball effect. I think Xavier might debuted first, and then it just sort of went on. And you every week you were sort of like, oh, this person's playing now, this person's playing. It was it's pretty cool to see it, and playing alongside those boys, and then seeing them thrive in the NRL now it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's mad. It's my year was when we under 19s Queensland, New South Wales was Israel Folau, Jared Hayne, Uarte, Dave Taylor, just guns, bro. Just absolute guns. Jared Mullen was there as well. That was our under 19s was that big punch on. That's on. Yeah, I don't know if you remember. It's from YouTube. Yeah, I didn't do much damage. I was fucking just doing my best. Okay, so you're playing that under 18s, but then you sign that 2-year deal with the Roosters. There's quite a lot of noise around that 2-year deal. It was touted as the biggest deal from a guy coming out of school that hadn't played first grade. As a young fella, were you just enjoying it, going, "This is cool," or were you like, "Wow, this is a bit hectic," or what was it like?
Like I said, I think when I was young, I was that naive. I didn't think anything of it, and in my head, I'm like, "This is normal. This is probably sweet." It wasn't, not thinking too much about, I guess, the enormity of it all, and like I said, I was just backing myself. I was confident the way that I played, and I believe that my style of football is obviously a bit different to a lot of other people's, and I believe that it would hold up in the NRL, and I was confident, I guess, in myself.
And so you signed the 2-year deal, and then in 2019 you represent the Australian Schoolboys. What was that like going away with the Australian Schoolboys against the junior Kiwis?
It was an unbelievable experience. I remember, similar to that Origin side, we had so many great players in that team, a lot of those names I just mentioned before, they were all playing in it as well, and I remember us it got named the team that had NRL players that were playing in the team, and we were all sort of bit nervous. Like
No way.
Dylan Brown was even named in the team, and he was like 2 or 3 years older than us at the time.
No way.
But like, because we were a schoolboy side, so we were like 17, and then some boys were 18, and then we were playing against a 19s Kiwi side.
Jesus.
So Dylan Brown was like playing NRL, and then he got named, and he didn't play in the game or anything. But like, we were going into the game thinking, geez, we're playing NRL play. Like, this is pretty cool. We were a bit nervous and stuff, and yeah, the game started, and you know, we had a really good game. We ended up getting the win there, and I think it was a good sort of confidence booster for myself, and then a lot of the other boys are sort of going on to play NRL as well. And
so then 2020, you joined the NRL squad for the Roosters, but then COVID hits. What was that like for you? Were you kind of you went away with the squad though, didn't you?
It was a funny one because I was sort of I was down there, so I played the Aussie Schoolboys game. The next day I got surgery on my shoulder, so I got the surgery done. So I was sort of planning to come back maybe around four something that year, and then I think the boys got through 2 weeks. I would have played probably 2 weeks in a trial maybe of Cup or one of the grades, and then couldn't obviously do any of that because of the surgery. And then the season after 2 weeks got shut down, and I was able to go home, which was cool. I was 17 still, able to go home for a bit, and then came back into like the bubble they had at the back end of the year. And yeah, it was definitely the most probably challenging time I've had to go through. And injuries and stuff are tough, but that was definitely for me, like 17 years old, moving away from home. I boarded at school, so I sort of knew a little bit about it, but I was go home on the weekends, or I'd be close to my family and friends and everything like that still. And to move away from all that and then be isolated in a place. I love my golf and stuff. Like, I play heaps of golf and couldn't do any of that. I couldn't even go to a cafe, and just the little stuff that you take for granted, I guess. You couldn't go and do. And yeah, it was definitely challenging at those times. I was like, why do I even do this? Like, why do I put yourself through this? And
because you're like at 17 years old, I'm assuming there weren't other 17-year-olds in that squad, so you're staying with a group of men as well, which is a different interest, isn't that?
Yeah, for sure. And it was, I guess obviously, like during the season and stuff, you have a lot of young players come through and give them a chance. But that year in COVID as well, it was like the top 30, and then no one else could train with the squad. So I was lucky enough to be in the top 30, but then there was no other young boys. And then you couldn't hang out with the boys away from training. So you go into training, and then you had to go straight home. You couldn't go to a cafe. You couldn't do anything social with the team to sort of. And I've just joined the team, so I couldn't.
You're already rattled as it is.
Couldn't really get to know anyone, I guess, as much as you'd probably like as well. And I was like, it was going to be tough to play NRL that year. I was like 71 kilos, I think. Like I could have rode track work on the weekends. Like it was. Yeah, like I said, it was hard sort of knowing that, it's going to be tough to play grade at this weight. I'm trying to put weight on, and then, you got a bit of anxiety. You're stressed about, not being at home and stuff. And, I think getting through that year and knowing how hard that was, it's set me up for, I think, my next few years of NRL.
Yeah, because like as a 17-year-old, it's hard enough as it is when you first go into a first grade squad. I didn't go in at 17. I went in at 18, and like you're so like there's so much overload of the senses. You got all these legends walking around, and like you're still trying to find out who you are as a person too. Like it's a very trying time for a young fella, and I can only imagine like to not like the positive when you are young, when you do go into first grade squad, is usually there's like 2 or 3 other 18-year-olds that you like.
Yeah.
You just kind of have your little crew, and you're kind of experiencing it all together, kind of thing, and you can bounce off each other. Whereas, if you're the only 17-year-old and you're sitting there just going, oh shit, like I don't know anyone here. I can only imagine.
I think it was there's that side of it, and then there's also the like side where you couldn't mingle, you couldn't go to like cafes and do all that sort of stuff to get to really know everyone. Which I guess made it a fair bit tougher.
So you weren't in the bubble? Were you staying somewhere together, or you were staying separate?
At your own house. I was living at Randwick at the time. And
did you have any roommates or anything?
I was living with Charlotte Caslick and Lewis Holland. They were Sevens players.
So I was
living with them, but they were sort of in their own bubble as well. So I ended up sort of being on my own in this house on my own, and then which made it obviously, like I said, like made it hard as well. And but it was tough times.
Yeah, thinking that's tough. As I said, it's hard enough moving away from home as it is, and then you're sitting at home. I'm sure there were plenty of weekends where you're just sitting there, just going like, "What am I doing? Like, I miss home, I miss the family."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so when do you reckon during that year, when do you reckon you kind of, what was the point where you're like, get through it's a strong word, but like you started to like get used to the new version of your life kind of thing, do you think?
You mean like in the bubble, like the COVID side of it?
Yeah, like where you kind of accepted, like I'm here now, like I've got to stop missing home, and I've just got to.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like a 6-month period or anything. Like that. It was more of like June till like September probably. Like it was probably a 3-month period there, and it was, yeah, I think when you're in it, it was just like because you can't do it, like because you can't look forward to anything. Like it's just. There's nothing to really look for. Like you're training, you're getting flogged at training because you aren't playing. So you got to train and get flogged, and then you're coming home and you can't go play golf, can't go have a beer, can't do any of that sort of stuff. Which there was just probably like that. Like I do a lot. Like I'm usually doing a lot of things. I'm usually out of the house, whatever that may look like, and yeah. So I think that side of it just felt like a drag. Like it just felt like a sentence almost.
I can imagine, mate. Even like when I wasn't getting towed up each week, and even I was struggling with COVID, and there was people, it was such a weird time. It was such a fucking weird time. It feels weird we even went through it. Okay, so that happens. You get through that, but as you said, it sets you up in good stead for. Actually, no. During that year, you actually got named in the 21-man squad.
Yeah.
Walk us through how that all come together.
Yeah, we played West Tigers out at Leichhardt, and yeah, I think we had a few injuries that sort of week, and yeah, I was able to get in there, and I wasn't 18th or 19th man, but I remember Robbo saying like it'd be a cool experience for you to warm up with the team, so I was able to go to the game like preparing as if you're playing. Like I wasn't going to be able to play, but
still cool though.
Yeah, still cool. I got the warm up jersey, like you got to do all that, got to run out, doing bombs for Teddy before the game, that sort of stuff. Like it was cool to be able to.
Did you take care of him, or were you fucking smacking him around the park?
No, I was 70 kilos. I couldn't put a kick up. Little pop guns. Yeah, no. So I was able to do that, like get through the whole warm up and see what it's like. Get the I guess a bit of adrenaline rush of it all, and yeah, I guess experience what it was like to I guess to sort of run out there for the first time, and it was a cool learning curve, I guess, for me as well.
And so the next year, you play in the preseason trial and you score a try, and you begin the season in the New South Wales Cup side. But in that preseason, did you feel a lot more comfortable because you'd kind of
for sure. I knew everyone. Like it was by that stage, I was real comfortable in the squad. I was I found my feet for sure. Like you find your sort of your crew and everything like that, and it was that. Yeah, by that preseason challenge, I was really comfortable in my game, and remember that preseason game, I think I played the second half in NRL, and it was my first game since the Schoolboys game. So it was Schoolboys, and then that was the next game, so it would have been a year and 8 months or something like that since my last game. I just remember as soon as I got out there, I was running around like a headless chook. Like I was everywhere throwing passes out my whatever I wanted, like whatever I was doing. I wouldn't even known by the time I come off the field, I wouldn't have known what I'd done. Like I was just there's that much excitement, pent up excitement that I just let it all out, I guess.
Mate, it's so true though. Like over a year of no footy, did it feel weird to get your bearings initially when you're out there, or you're pretty sweet because all the training?
Yeah, I think because when you're training in NRL, it's almost like especially if you go from Schoolboys footy and stuff like that to an NRL train. Like NRL training's harder than playing a Schoolboys game and stuff like that. Like it's more professional as well. Like it's almost more of a game of football than a Schoolboys game. So I'd prepared and stuff like I was doing it, and funnily enough, I feel like now after my knee injury, I feel like I don't know how my touch is going to be, like my kicking or my passing, my vision, all that sort of stuff, and it probably gives me a little bit more confidence knowing that you did that my first year. I did that a year and 8 months or whatever it was without playing footy, and I felt pretty confident still playing footy. Yeah.
Okay, and so you play well in the trials, but you start the year in New South Wales Cup. Were you at all, because you still would have been 18 at this stage?
18, yeah.
What was your mindset at this stage? Because a lot of people outside looking in, like rugby league fans, they go, just be patient, young fella. You've got so many years ahead of you. And I had a massive problem with patience. Like I was like, I need to be debuting like now. And what was it like for you though? Were you patient, or were you like, no, I need to get into that first grade squad?
Yeah, it was so early, I think, for me, because I think it was around 3 or 4. Round 4 I debuted.
Yep.
It was a long time ago now for me, but I was I think I was pretty chill about it. Like I knew my opportunity to probably come that year, maybe get a few games. I didn't think much. I thought maybe Origin time, I might get
Yeah.
a couple of games, and that'd be cool for my first year in NRL. And round 3 we played, got smoked by in New South Wales Cup, got smoked by Tau Moga. Busted my AC joint. I didn't know. I'd never done an AC or anything like that before. Busted my AC joint. I was like, what? I can't move my arm. I can't lift it up. It's like, what's going? I don't even know what it was. I was like, it's not my shoulder, because I know when I've subluxed the shoulder, like it's not that. And then, sort of got through the game, had no idea what I'd done, and then driving home, get home and watch the game with my family, and I remember Lockie Lamb was playing in the halves at the time, and he did his. Remember watching he did his MCL or something like that, and I was sort of going, oh, like might be on here. No, I think it was my dad and everyone were there, like, oh, he might be debuting. He was, maybe, like, probably not. Like, it'd probably be, I think maybe Hutcho was there as well. There may probably be Hutcho or someone. And then about 5 minutes later, Kez goes down, does his ACL.
Oh, yeah, wow.
And and I was like, oh,
I'm
definitely going to be debuting here. And then you sort of get the nerves. And then, the next day I went and got scans on the shoulder and busted my AC joint. I was like, oh no, here we go. Like, this is gonna be dramas. And then it was, I guess, that the debut week, it's almost like a dream. It just goes that quickly. Yeah.
Do you remember when did Robbo tell you that, Matt, you're in?
Well, like I said, I sort of had a fair gauge that both our halves are going down. I was like, there's not many left here. Unless they're pulling some middle out and playing even doing that. So I had a fair gauge. And then I think we probably played this Sunday, so we had a bit of a long turnaround. I think it came in the Monday for training, and sort of. I might have had a meeting with him on the Sunday or something, and went through like how I wanted to play. Like, obviously play a bit different to those other halves, and we sort of went through what plays I like and what I want to do on the field and stuff. And so I had obviously knew then, and then Monday got it announced, and was able to tell my family that I was going to be debuting. Yeah,
mate, you say that your both halves went down and you might have got it selected, but it happens, and I'll tell you how it happened. So we had a lot of injuries too for the Broncos, and so I was playing Queensland Cup, and I was the only other winger left in the top squad. So this would have been 2006, and Wayne Bennett selected another player that was playing local league over me that wasn't in the top squad as 18th man. And I was like in my car, like crying and shit. I was like,
what have I done?
He's not even in the top squad. I'm ahead of him. Like, he's playing local league. I'm in like Q Cup, so I'm the next guy up. And he went to fucking local league over me. So it can happen, bro. It can happen. Anyway, so you get named. What's the nerves like? How'd you handle that week, do you think?
Like it was. I think it was a lot of excitement, and I was a bit, because I had my AC. I didn't know what it was like. They're like, "Oh, we're going to jab it for the game. Like, you'll be fine. You won't even feel it." And I'm sort of going like, "I can't move this. I can't pass. I can't do anything like throughout the week." I'm like, I was almost thinking like, I don't think I'll be able to play. Like, if this jab doesn't work, I'm not going to be able to play this game. Like, there's no chance I can do it. And I guess I reckon it might have helped it a bit, because I wasn't really thinking as much about the game. I was probably a bit worried about the shoulder and stuff.
Okay,
and it was so exciting. Like, telling your mates, telling your family, you telling Kathy how many tickets you need for the game, and everyone's coming down, the seeing everyone before the game, and it was just such an excitement. And then I think the nerves are obviously there and stuff, but I think excitement was definitely at the forefront.
Yeah. And so did you do a fitness test before, or you were just like, nah?
They do it 1,000 times with players. But like for me, I didn't know. Like, you didn't know this is what they do. I didn't know they just can jab someone's shoulder and it feels $1 million. So I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Then I got the jab and I'm moving around like, oh my god,
it's actually.
Should I get this daily? It was feel that nice. And then obviously I was able to go ahead and there were obviously nerves and stuff there. I remember, like, for some reason in my head, like, it sounds really weird, but I was like the fear that I had was like, imagine receiving the kickoff and they kick it down to you. Like, I'm going to stand here and catch this kickoff. Imagine like my first touch in the NRL is I'm dropping the kickoff, like catch. I was like, and then what if the scrum, then this is like what's going through my head, like, I guess in that week, I was like, what if the scrum comes back at me and then my first tackle was like a try? And it's weird how like your brain just it puts fear, like puts that much fear in you. That was the only thing that was worried me. And then as soon as I caught my first, they kicked it off to me actually as well.
Yep.
And I can't remember who kicked it off, but luckily it was just an end over end down to me.
Like,
I was able to catch it.
hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they put him up there.
Yeah.
And then I was able to catch that. And once I did that, like, it felt like the rest of the game was, not easy, I guess, but like I felt so much more confident, much more comfortable. I got through that initial hit.
Yep. It's people don't realize, like, so for example, Ben Hunt's drop ball in the grand final. People don't realize, like, Kyle Felt's the best kickoffer, like, probably in the NRL, and it's not just end over end. He places it so it like floats in the air.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't remember. Maybe he didn't that kick, but most of his kicks are super hard to catch. Kyle Felt's.
Me and Kez, Luke here, like that was our biggest fear. Like playing together, that was the thing that feared us the most. Was like we'd almost like during the week talk about who was kicking off that week, because it was that like you just like the last thing you want to do as a halfback is have to worry about catching. And it took us about a year or two to work out. All we have to do is just put the wingers in there, and we'll just stay on the sideline. I did it early because I was goal kicking as well, so I did it early. And then he was like, "Nah, you got to be. Don't be like that. You got to catch the kickoff." So it's what a halfback does, 5'8" does. And then his last year, he's like, "Nah, I don't need this head noise anymore. I'll get the winger to do this for me.
I don't need this head noise anymore." That's great. Okay, so. Is there any advice Robbo gave you, or any senior players before you did run out? Because you're in a key position. It's a tough debut.
Advice, not really. Like they were so obviously so supportive. Like Kez, he was the halfback at the time. He did his knee. He went down, and like could have easily just gone and got his surgery and not seen us for however long. But he was still in touch, still helping me out, wherever he could, like giving me encouragement, which meant a lot. And then I think just the senior players, they knew how to go about it, I guess. Like for me, it was just like, like they believe in me and stuff, but they probably hadn't at that stage. And but they'd give you that confidence they'd like tell you they'd tell you what you needed to hear, I guess, as well. And remember sort of presenting what plays I wanted to run and how I wanted to play as this 18-year-old halfback, and they all got on board with it, and they all gave me their backing, I guess, which helped me go into my first year. And like I said so as well, like I was that naive, so I thought this was like normal, like this is what you do, like this is how you go out and do it, I guess.
But like when you're that age and you do debut as a teenager, you do think it's normal, but if you are debuting as a teenager, that's actually quite a rare thing to be doing. Like it means that you're quite ahead of the curve. So you're right. Mate, I mean, I was the same when I debuted at 19. Like, I'm just like, this is normal. Like, I'm an NRL player now. Like, this is all good. But it's you don't really. I mean, it's like anything when you're young. You don't actually think about how the gravity of the situation. But anyway, you set up a try in that game as well. What did that feel like? 32-12 win. What was it like? Anything you remember from the game?
I remember from the game. I remember tackling Isaiah. He was my back row that game, Isaiah Katoa, and he hadn't burst onto the scene yet.
Oh, really?
And I was going, Jesus, bloke's like, his debut year or something. This bloke's hard to tackle. Like, he might make himself into something. Look at him now. He's like killing it. Yep. Yeah, absolute weapon. And I was like, Jesus, bloke's, I don't know how hard this bloke is to tackle. So I remember trying to tackle him a bit. I remember that game, Bunty Afoa sort of got his name for charging off the back fence off the kickoff. So he was storming into BMOS. Was my winger that game, but he was my bodyguard almost. So he defended inside for me there, and he protected me heaps. And that set up the try there, which was pretty cool. Looking back on it and stuff, and I think that gave me a lot of confidence. Like once, it sounds weird, but like it's like anything, I guess. Like in cricket, like you score 50 or 100, like you get that confidence. And for me, it was getting a try assist. Like I'm off the duck, I guess you could say. Like I've got a try assist. Like now I can sort of get going with the rest of my game. The pressure's off a bit. Yeah. So that was obviously a huge moment for me.
And so like this year, as you said earlier, like you're probably assuming you get a few games. However, you got much more than a few games. You really cemented yourself. There's a lot of hype around you as well. In round 14, your field goal, defeating the Gold Coast Titans as well. Is that what's your fondest memory from that first year, do you think?
Yeah, that was obviously up there. I remember I had a good sort of start to that game. It was the first game, so I debuted round 14, you said? Was it against Titans? So, round 14 against Titans. That was the first game that I didn't jab my shoulder. So I did my left AC joint, so I was jabbing every game for that point, and then got to round 14 and I went, this is feeling really good. Like, I'm good to go here. Got through the first half, had a decent sort of first half, then came out the second half. I remember Lamby sort of skipped through, made a line break, and I was there on the inside and supported. He passed me the ball and I scored a try. The next set of 6, it's about probably 5 minutes into the second half, got a bit of confidence probably, trying to get the ball and trying to skip across out of yardage there. And I remember Jamal Fogarty jammed me, lifted me up, and then just dumped me on my other AC joint.
No.
So I busted I didn't first game not jab my left one. I get dumped on my head, bust my other AC joint, and I'm on the ground, can barely move, get taken off the field, and we're up like 30-6 or something at this point. And the doc goes in, he's like, "Oh, you've done your other AC joint." I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet." And then he's like, "I will jab it and get it ready." I was like, "Oh, we're up 30-6. Like, don't even bother jabbing this thing. Like, I'm not going to go back on the field." I was like, "I have had enough here today." And then he's like, "Oh, we'll do it just in case. Just in case I come back." I was like, "We're up 30-6. Like, come on." And then they just like they're that sort of team of Titans. That time of the year as well. Justo, he's our attacking coach now, mate. Unbelievable attacking coach. And they dry day in Gold Coast, so they just found form. Dave Fafita, Tino, those sort of fellas. I remember I jabbed and they got to like 30-12, and I was like, "Oh, okay, 30-18, 30-24. I was like, "Oh, start to get the tackle in on the tackling pad, like getting myself ready." And then they got the last try, got to 30 all, and Robbo put me on with about 5 to go, and got back out there, and I don't really know. Like I hadn't kicked a field goal. Like my first ever field goal. I hadn't kicked one in any grade.
Really?
Before. Yeah. So
no way.
Like I remember that set. We a lot of the leaders sort of took the hit ups, and they got us in the position where we train it every single time. And I guess like I said, just trusted the process, and it felt smooth, and came off the foot nice, and like a bit like your first try. This is your first try. It just after that you had a lot more confidence going into. I think I had a few more that year, and you had so much more confidence going into kicking them after that.
Yeah, and just that feeling when they went over and all the boys, like I think don't get me wrong, it's good for yourself, that feeling, but the better feeling is when all the boys come in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was such a people like can shy away from the pressure and all that sort of stuff and not want to invite it, but I just love the feeling of like inviting that, getting over it, and then that feeling that you get after, like it's like you said, it's the best feeling in the world. Like when everyone's getting around you after it, and
it's like a drug. It's like a rush.
Exactly. It's the best adrenaline shot you'll ever get. Yeah,
and the boys are happy with you, and you feel like you've done something for the your brothers on the field that bleed for you.
Yeah, exactly.
If you for any try that I'd scored that helped the boys win a match or whatever, because you watch your forwards, mate, they do so much hard work. Like they train harder, they bash their bodies up. And so if you can just do that one little thing for them, you're like, yes, it's not the same as what they go through, but at least you've done your job kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So you get that drop goal. But then a few rounds later, round 17, the now infamous 90-meter run backwards. Mate, walk us through. You just walk us through what you're thinking in that situation.
The funny thing is I've done it 1,000 times in junior footy. So like it was a thing that I've got footage on my phone and stuff. I've done it like in Schoolboys and Queensland Schoolboys. We played New South Wales. I did that. It was a thing that they did that back of the Jets. They used to do, like at the end of the game, like if there was like a 4 or 6, basically a way to make sure the other team don't get the ball. So all I want to do in footy is win a game of football, and
within the rules.
If it's within the rules, I'll exploit that. And I know I didn't want to make any more tackles that day. And I'm that naive. I didn't even think anything of it. I thought, this would be sweet. I just charge back. I think that like the team thought the whole team, even my team thought I was like taking a field goal or something. I just caught the ball and started bolting, and then the clock in the game on the TVs and stuff was like 5 or 10 seconds in front of what the game at the stadium, the clock was.
Oh, okay.
So like in my head, I've got like 20 seconds left or whatever it was here. But on the clock, it said like maybe 25 seconds left. And then on the clock on the clock on the TVs was like 35 seconds. Everyone's like, he's not trying to run around here for 35 seconds. I'm like, but it wasn't as long as it sort of looked on the TVs, but it was still a very long time. I was lucky Adokar and no one was playing. I probably would have got ran down there.
So when you do it, I'm sure you're probably thinking, nothing of it. Like, just a bit of fun. That's what I did juniors. But then it just explodes. Like, everyone's talking about it. Were you surprised when you walked off the field and you're like, I'm sure your phone is lighting
probably
up?
Not the best fan base to do it to. The Doggies fans are not the they don't let you get away with that sort of
passionate.
Stuff. Yeah, they're very passionate, those fans. But yeah, no, it was, I don't know. Like, I remember getting like death threats and all this sort of stuff on my phone just blowing up, and in my head, I'm like, who cares? Like, for me, I just didn't really, a lot of things just don't really faze me. And that was sort of one of them. I just went, oh well, it's done. It's pretty funny to laugh about it.
All right, so that same year though, week 1 of the finals against the Titans, you kick the winning field goal again. You win the match 25-24. I mean, that's a finals match as well against the Titans as well. What's your issue with the Titans, bro? Come on, it's smacking us around the park.
That's what Justo said when he came. He's like, you probably got me out of my job here.
Oh man! So walk us through that finals match, because that's your first finals match as a rookie player.
Yeah, I remember I sort of that back end of that year. It was a great gig. I was playing special teams basically. I'd sit the bench, and if they needed something at the end, like I'd sort of just come on and do that. So it was a pretty cool role for me. Like the boys, you rock up to finals week, and the boys are practicing their passing and their general play, kicking and all that sort of stuff. And I rocked up to train, and I was just doing field goals. So I just stand there and just practice my field goals all week. So it was a cool opportunity to experience the game, but not have to play halfback. I guess like for me, I was able to experience the whole final scenario, and it was a different time. It was COVID, so we were living at the Sunny Coast. We were living as a team, and we played the game in Townsville, and it was a bit like the other game. It was just we had a great attacking team, and they sort of just back and forth. We go up by a try, then they'd come back, and I got to this stage, and Robbo was like, "Oh, you're going to go on here," so. I got myself ready, and I remember I got my first one charged down. I was a bit like I remember that kick. It wasn't going in. I got charged. Luckily, got it charged down. I got the ball back because it was missing by about 30 meters. Like it was a complete shank, and I think that one sort of settled my nerves. And we got luckily enough gotten ourselves in another position to have a shot and sliced it a bit. But it was like you said, it's a bit longer on the clock, so we had a bit more to go, but. It's such a cool experience, and I love those sort of moments in those games.
And so this year, you get named Dally M Rookie of the Year. Were you aware of the noise that was around you that year? Because you burst onto the scene, and getting some massive praises from ex-players and journalists, or were you just so in the young naive bubble of just like enjoying footy that you didn't really know the noise was happening?
Yeah, I think it was such an exciting year. Like, my first season back playing footy, I missed a whole year of football, and it was such an exciting year, I guess. And it probably helped that we were in that bubble. Like, we were living at the Sunshine Coast, so it was such an enjoyable year. Like, I got to live at home, play for the Sydney Roosters, and we live at Sunny Coast, but it was about an hour and a half from where I live. Basically, live at home that year, and get to know the boys a lot better. You get to live with everyone and experience that a lot more. And you're living in like a little bubble, like you're basically in our own little world without everyone else. And I guess you probably don't realize, I guess, the enormity of it all. And it was such an enjoyable. Like, I loved that year so much.
Mate, it's such a gun year. So the next year was at the end of 2022. Was that the year where there was like the South game where like all these people got sent off?
The sin bin game,
yeah. So
like 8 sin bins or something.
Yeah, did you play in that game?
Yeah, I played in that. It was the weirdest game of football I've ever been a part of.
That.
Yeah, we beat them the week before, then we played them the first week of finals, and it was a hard one because I feel like out of hard to say, but that year, like we were like 8 or 9 in a row to go into the back of the year. Like, we were flying. Matt, like Lodgy was the best front row in the game. Like, he was killing it. Like our team was firing. It was just like for South, you can't play that way against South like that. They drag you down, and they're good in those sort of games. And we just I guess fell into their hands a lot. And I remember when you're playing it, it was just like, this is just the weirdest. Like, you're not tired. Like, it was no fatigue in the game. Like it was like almost like an NFL game. It was like you'd stop for 2 or 3 minutes, then you'd run another play or another set, and then the game would be stopped. Like, I think it was 8 sin bins or whatever it was, and
crazy.
It was just a weird game. I remember on the field just going like, this is the shittest game of football I've ever been a part of. Like, it was just horrible. Yeah.
And you're just sitting there going, what is happening? 8 sin bins. Like, I've never ever seen anything like that. The crowd's going insane. It was almost like a coliseum. Like, it was like baying for blood. It was crazy
it was
outside
so
anyway.
Weird. Yeah.
And so that year happens, and you good solid year of footy, and then the following year happens where you get demoted to reserve grade. Now, from the outside looking in, and mate, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever we analyse the game, especially the Roosters, we always felt like it didn't feel like you were sure, or Kiri was sure of, like, whose team is it? Like, and mate, correct if I'm wrong. And it felt like it took a while for maybe everyone to go, you know what, this is Sammy's team. Is that a fair assessment, or is that, no, that's not what was the situation?
Yeah, like maybe like to be honest, it didn't feel like that as much. Like, it was sort of like when you're in it, it's a different feeling. But like personally for myself, it was a good learning curve for me to you get so many like outside noise and everything coming in. Like, you have to play a certain way, you have to do certain things. Like, to win games, you have to do certain things. And for me, I remember that year I was probably trying to play a different way that I grew up playing for the Jets, like what's got me signed, like what got me my debut, all that sort of stuff. And I was probably a bit in my own head about, like, what if I throw a long ball, or what if I do this kick, and I was probably, it probably weighed on me a fair bit, and I wasn't able to express myself in the way enough. If you wanted me to play like another halfback, if you wanted, a halfback, if you wanted me to play like a structured, or like you wanted me to, do that sort of stuff, it just didn't suit the way that I wanted to play. And for me that year, it taught me that, get a balance of what the team needs, but I need to be able to express myself. I need to be able to do what I do on the field for us as a team to be at our best as well. And it was a cool learning experience for me, I guess.
Yeah, it's a great point, because, like, there are so many different styles of seven, and I do think that a lot of young fellas coming through, when they get that seven on their jersey, they look at past sevens and go, I've got to be like him. Like, I've got to be really structured, or I've got to, be really good long kicking game or whatever. But yourself, don't get me wrong, you've built those things into your game. But for example, as a winger, like, I'm not going to be Brian Toll. I'm not going to run for 200 meters every game, but I was a pretty good finisher. Like, that was my strength. And it probably happened a little bit when I went to the Warriors, like a similar situation, in the sense that, like, I was trying to be a winger that they wanted, but it probably wasn't what I was really good at, kind of thing. Whereas when I was at the Broncos, it suited that side a bit more. So when you got dropped to reserve grade, how did you handle it, do you think, like, mentally?
It was pretty tough, honestly. Like, it was, it's hard to really explain. Like, it was just a weird feeling. Like, I felt a bit of a hollow feeling. Like, I was a bit, like I let people down. Like, I didn't know where I was at, like what I was sort of thinking. And then I think I played my first game of Reggie's after being dropped. It was going into Anzac Day too, which is obviously, it's the best day of the year to play football. Like, the one game you don't want to miss is Anzac Day, and to miss that was, I was filthy about it. And obviously I have a great support network. My family and everything is so good, and they really helped me through it. But the first game, played Dragons and played Cup, and had an absolute stinker. Like, it was the worst game of football. People don't even watch and going, how is this bloke even playing in it? Like, it was so bad. And I was walking off going, I need to retire here. I'm done. I'm so bad. And then the following week we went over to New Zealand. We played over in New Zealand, and had a really good start to the game. Like, I think I might have set up one, scored one, and I was starting to feel a bit more confident in my game. The whole week of being dropped and stuff was out of my head, and I was just trying to focus on playing good footy again. And then about 2 or 3 minutes to go in the first half, get smoked, and didn't know at the time, but my whole head just got like taken off, busted nose, head knock, went off the field, and did like my HIA and ended up coming back on the second half. And I sort of run out of the second half, and my knee felt a bit sore. Like, I was a bit trusted as much, I guess. And I was trying to explain it to him. I was like, it's inside the knee. I don't know where. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's inside the knee. And get through that training session, and then I get through that game, and then we come back and start trying to train the next week. I'd step off and it'd like buckle on me. I'd just go down, and finally went and got scans on it, and I had like a partial tear in my ACL. So that was the start of it all. And then, missed sort of 3 months off the back of that. And it was just, I think that, I don't know if it probably gave me a bit more time to reflect on my game, which is probably, I guess, like looking back on it was probably a good thing for me, because I was able to sit back and go, like, this is, like, if you're still playing every week, you don't get this probably experience. But I was able to look back and go, like, how do I want to play? How do I see myself? And like where did I go wrong, I guess, in that season? And I learned a lot off the back of that. Yeah.
And it's a weird one because, like, you know, you get dropped. The last thing you want to do is not playing footy. However, sometimes, as you just said, that little bit of time away just gives you time to step outside because when you're in the footy bubble, it's like a washing machine. You just
for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Everything's happening a million times an hour, but that stepping away and just that silence to be able to go, okay, calm down. What's the reality of the situation? Kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. It was a funny one too because I got on a brace and stuff, and it was a partial tear in the ACL. It didn't feel too bad. Like, I was still training, and I was able to train for a week without it buckled and stuff. But it was like I'd buckled and I just keep running and keep going. Like, it wasn't going on me. So like it felt like I was able to keep going. But I think I missed 3 months of footy or something that year. Like it was it just wouldn't get right, and it was a real weird one because I thought at the start I missed maybe a month or 6 weeks of footy, and just kept sort of dragging out.
Yeah, that would be, and I guess you've got this hard decision that they're like, listen, we can get the operation, but that means you're out for 6 to 9 months or whatever.
Well, then there was also like, you get the operation, but then to do the operation, they had to fully snap my ACL. So they go in, snap it, and then put it back together. And I was like, it's hard. Like, you don't want to just snap something that's not already
100%.
Gone.
Yeah, 100%. So you end up getting back into the first grade side though, around 26.
Yeah.
And you get a victory over the Tigers, but in the first week of the finals, you kicked the winning field goal against Cronulla. Did that give you a bunch of confidence to go, you know what, like?
It was a cool sort of time. Like, it's cool, but I guess we had a lot of injuries and stuff throughout the game, and it's just like you just had to find a way. It didn't have to look pretty. I like those games where it doesn't have to. You have to win by 30. It can be like a 12. I think it was maybe 13-12 the game ended up. 13-12, yeah. Those games where like everything was like we had blokes going down. We had
like Marnie went off. I think Teddy might have gone off.
I think Joey Sawali went off. We had Teddy got Simbin for 10.
Yeah.
Billy Smith broke his jaw. We had like players like we had Sandon Smith his first year playing.
Yeah.
He was meant to be a hooker, like a bench hooker.
Yeah.
He had to go fullback for a little bit. Like he's 5'6". He won't like me saying that, but he is 5'6" now. But he had to go to fullback for a little bit, and then like CY Wong's debut year, and he had to go to centres, and like it was just so like it was so weird. And those games like that where it's just like it's probably like I like a lot of things. Like I like my footy, like it's like chaotic. Like I guess like it's chaos. Like there's things going on. It's just who can get sent up in that. And yeah, we defended really well and got it to 12 all. And I've got so much confidence when we get to, if we're in a tied game, that I'll be able to execute. Our team will be able to get myself into a position where I can execute the field goal. And yeah, like I said, luckily enough it came off. And then we still had ages to go. And I think Teddy charged down 2 and Kez got hit in the head and charged out another one. It was just such a cool game.
Was it really raining and wet as well? Was it like I recall it being a pretty
I think so. I remember
damp night.
Actually, it was too. And I had a horse run in the group 2 that day as well. So I had this massive big adrenaline rush that day. And it lost by like a whisker, to cylinder in the group 2. Like it's a colt as well. And I remember I had this massive big adrenaline rush about 3 hours before kickoff, and then had to try and like control myself. My heart rate's like 100, like game like, and then try to get myself back down. And then it got back up after kicking the field goal. It was just a crazy day. Yeah.
Oh, far out. And so that would have given you heaps of confidence heading into 2024. Before we get into 2024, I'd love to ask, when you first were goal kicking, I remember watching going, I don't know whether he has the length in his kicking to be a goal kicker. What worked? Because now all of a sudden, goal kicking improved.
It's a funny one. I felt like I kicked well in like school and coming through the grades, and even my first year at Roosters, my when I was playing cup and stuff, kicked. I don't know what I hit that, but I kicked pretty well. And then when I did my AC, my left AC, because I can't lift my arm up at all. I couldn't practice through the week. So I started off my career, started off the season not too bad. I remember I kicked a couple against on Anzac Day. I might have kicked like 5 or 6 in a row on Anzac Day. And then because I couldn't practice every week, I couldn't practice. So I'd go into the game and I haven't kicked for the whole week and everything like that. And I feel like that I had no confidence in my goal kicking. I wasn't the goal kicker because I remember Siwa Taukeaho was meant to goal kick, but then he was goal kicking, and then he'd go off the field for 40 minutes a game. So I'd kick when he was off, and I had no confidence in my goal kicking. I wasn't the main goal kicker. I couldn't practice throughout the week, and it was just all these little things. And I was like, oh, this is torture. And,
That makes sense.
Goal kicking, but yeah, like that year I didn't have the legs and stuff, honestly, because I couldn't lift my arm up throughout the week. But then, for me, goal kicking's like it is all confidence. Like it's you can have everything going, but if you stand over that ball and don't believe that you're going to kick this, like you're not ever going to kick it.
Such a good point. Yeah.
We played Bronx at Suncorp my second year in grade 22, maybe round 5, and by that stage, like I remember everyone at training was practicing their goal kicking because they're like, this bloke cannot go. I was kicking at maybe 60% at the start of the year.
Oh shit!
And it was about round 5, and I would go to captain's run and everyone's practicing goal kicking. I'm like, oh jeez, just sack me already. Just get it over and done with. And then we played at Suncorp, and that week. I was sort of the day before the game. My old man was a good goal kicker back in the day. He kicked about 80%. Like he was a really good goal kicker, and so I didn't get to spend much time goal kicking practicing with him, obviously because I live in Sydney, he lives in Brisbane and stuff. And on game day, I said to Rob, I was like, do you mind if I just go for a bit of a goal kick with my dad? Like, is that okay? So I went down to like these local fields in Brisbane somewhere on maybe about 6 hours before kickoff.
No way.
And did a bit of a goal kicking session, just like a muck around session with him, and grabbed a couple of balls, grabbed my tee, and he just took me didn't coach me or anything like that, but probably just gave me a bit of confidence. Yeah. Like just a bit of belief in, like he's like, you're good enough to, you can kick a goal. Like, look at you, like hit every kick. Like I kicked maybe 12 goals that day, and kicked them all over, and got into the game, and it was a bit of a sort of a tussle of the game, and I might have got to about sort of 18 all. Joey Manu scored a try from dummy half with about maybe 6 or 7 minutes to go, and it was 18 all, and I had a kick from about 5 in on the right hand sideline,
which is the worst,
which is a hard spot for a goal kicker. And I remember going and before that I had no confidence, and I remember I nailed a few that day with my dad before the game, and I sort of stood up and nailed it, put it over, and sort of from there that year, so I was about 60% going into that game, and then I might have kicked 2 goals that game, because I remember I scored a try and hit my head, so I didn't have one of the goal kicks, so I might have kicked 2 goals that game, and then nailed that one to pretty much win the game for us against Bronx, and from there that year I think I might have kicked it sort of 81% or something like that. It was a really good confidence builder, but as soon as I had that one experience of kicking a goal to basically win the game, like it still fuels me from to now with my goal kicking. Like I'm confident with it all, and it's the beliefs there with it.
Mate, that makes so much sense, because I remember watching the first year going, mate, like he sometimes doesn't make the
I'd kick on the sideline. I'm not even getting my legs yet.
But obviously, you have the AC, so you couldn't do any of the practice. Mate, I mean, it's a great lesson for any young kickers listening. Like goal kicking really is all about confidence, and I give you I had won games for the Warriors from tough kicks, but there were some times where it was the kicks that weren't on the side. Like if you put me on the sideline,
for sure,
because you're not expected to get it, you just on whatever easy. Anything that was like 10 meters to the left or right of the post. Would rattle me, because I would be like, I'm expected to kick it. But it's actually a harder kick than it looks like.
My bogey spot, the one that I always wig out a little bit about, is 20 in on the right hand side. Like it's such an awkward kick.
Yeah. I'm feeling you, bro. I'm feeling it. So 2024 though, in my opinion, I felt was your best year. Like this is where I felt like, whether it was your team or not your team, but I did feel like, at least watching you play, it looked like you had embraced, this is the style of just footy that I play. Like I'm going to do all the stuff I need to do for the team, but I feel like this is my strength. Do you feel like that was the most confident footy you played in 24?
Yeah, for sure. It was it was such an exciting year for myself. Like it was, I felt like I was on top of my game. Like it was, like I said that year before, like I had the stuff, I picked up my pieces and stuff like that I felt like I needed to put into my game that I needed. Like I feel like I was adding all the right pieces, but then I had a lot of room there to express myself in the way that I wanted to play, and I was able to do the things that I believed in. I wasn't trying to emulate sort of anyone else, and I was I felt like I was in complete control of how I wanted to play.
And so you have a bloody good year, but obviously you suffer your season-ending knee injury, but this is also at a time where you hadn't re-signed with the club yet, and like the things that go through your head when stuff like that happens is like, you just think of the worst, like, they're not going to pull a deal or whatever. What was the situation for you?
Like we were getting pretty close to the deal, and then obviously the knee obviously goes out. I still have my contract for next year though, which is luckily enough. Like it was probably going to be a bit tougher for me if I hadn't have had this year's deal. So obviously that made it a bit better. But sort of once I did my knee, and I was able to, because I sort of didn't really want to focus on the deal and like signing contracts until I'd sort of finished that season. I just wanted to focus going into finals. I didn't want to have the head noise about what was going on and like thinking about all that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to focus on football. And then as soon as I did my knee, I remember sitting down with my manager and I was just like, come on, let's get this done. And sort of a week or so later after I'd done it, I signed it and got it all sorted and I guess finished it off.
Mate, how good. And I guess because you've done your ACL, you've had even more time to work on all the video, the mental side of the game. Do you feel like when you do go back, don't get me wrong, it's going to take a little bit for you to feel like you get your touch back or whatever. But do you feel like mentally you're in the best place possible coming back this year, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's I'm starting to get myself back into training now. It's been obviously a slow process with it all. Like the boys are, I guess, flying. I'm trying to double myself here, not do contact, but like still trying to wearing a non-contact bib to try and get myself involved as much as I can. And it's this week's probably the first week I've started to really doing a lot of the football stuff, which is all I want to do. Like I'm just so excited to just be able to grab a football and put a grabber kick in or throw a pass or whatever it is. So now it's exciting to get back into just doing all this sort of stuff now. And the next, I guess, couple of months will just be integrating contact, stepping, all that sort of stuff, and getting all that confidence back. So,
mate, still only 22. Holy, that's crazy. Mate, to ask all the boys this, and favourite rapper or favourite musician of all time?
Favourite rapper or musician of all time? Jesus. I like my country music, so I'll go Morgan Wallen.
Did you go to his concert or whatever?
Yeah, I've gone to that many concerts. Gussie's got one of his mates, Pete. He's a really good fella. He sort of looks after us. Mate, he's been going to that many concerts out there at Kudos at the moment. So it's been cool. Yeah.
Okay. Was he as good in person to watch him live?
Morgan's definitely the best I've seen. I've gone to a few there. Luke Combs, those sort of fellas as well. Yeah.
Mate. Okay. And favourite movie of all time?
Favourite movie? Maybe The Benchwarmers.
The Benchwarmers.
Yeah, The Benchwarmers.
Yeah. I've never heard that answer before.
Yeah,
it's always Shawshank Redemption, really.
Yeah, really. That's my pop's favourite. had it taped at home. We'd watch it every night.
Yeah, good, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and mate, you've got such a long career ahead on you. I'm sure we'll have you back on in the future if you want to. Mate, I'm so keen to see you back, mate. Cannot wait.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.